All right, welcome to Week 7's Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pepman, Matt Morrow. Tonight we've got a fully loaded show. Start off with Pepman's players. Then we'll have Punt or Huddle Up, our new favorite segment. We're going to talk briefly about the NCHSAA situation going on between them and the state government, which is something else, man. It's crazy. We'll go through our Week 7 polls. We'll do our game previews. A big week in Union County. We got all three of those big games on the docket. We'll do our predictions, best of the comments, and we'll finish up with slime time. So hold tight, get comfortable. We're going to run the intro, and we'll be right back to start off Week 7 of Football Focus Weekly.
Well, rule number one, for as long as I have been able to drive a car, I'm getting pretty old, has been never pass a Bojangles without stopping to get something to eat.
I'm sliming the adult league referee.
God, oh.
Well, dang, I mean, y'all just took my slime, because I was going to slime Coach Dillon. Because let me tell y'all about this cat.
Well, I think I got to go with sliming who's ever running these stupid robo-dollars and group callers.
All right, welcome back on the Pepman, Matt Morrow. Once again, welcome to Football Focus Weekly. We have two people here. Actually three. One was here and then he left. I don't know where he went. But anyway, the engine is here.
What's up, Pep?
With the backwards 90s hat going on.
I didn't have time to take a shower, do my hair.
All right. Friday night is here.
What's going on, family? How everybody doing, man? What's good? Right? What's good, Pep? What's good, baby?
You sound down, man. You all right?
Oh, no, man. I'm good, man. I'm just a little tired, man. You know,
okay.
Getting extra hours at the job and everything, man. You know, I'm good.
All right. Make sure you're all right, man. You know.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. I'm good, though. I'm good.
All right, good. And then he said he was going to be late, but he's here. I tell you, man. Coach Doug.
What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's up?
What up, Coach Doug? What's good, baby?
Man, I got some chicken wings cooking, and I thought they took too long, so I said I might as well join the show.
So that's why you were going to be late.
Yeah, I went by the store after practice, got my hot sauce and all that good stuff, and I got in. My wife was like, man, I just dropped the chicken. So I said, man, I might as well join the show.
Well, we're glad to have you as always. And then Summer Blevins, first comment in tonight.
Hey, what's up, Summer? How you doing?
What's going on, sis?
Summer, we need to have a conversation. We'll talk about that later. There we go. There's another comment. Jerron, yeah, there he is every week.
Long time, bro. Ori, what up, baby? What it do?
Good to have you, man. Good to have you. All right, so guys, we get about a 10-minute break because we got to do Pepman's players. And I addressed an issue. Someone said last week they couldn't see the players, so I used a bigger font this week. And then always Pepman's Players is sponsored by Rock Solid Training from this guy right here. If you don't know, you better ask somebody. Go get you some Rock Solid Training. And he was a smart man because he did that on Sunday instead of watching these daggone Panthers.
That was good. I had a full house on Sunday, Pep. Hope to have another full house this weekend coming up, and the next weekend, man. Just a bunch of young men who want to get better. And
there you go. So if you need some individual training, you do all positions, right?
I've hit up a lot of them. I had an offensive lineman hit me up this week. Probably going to start working with a couple of those starting next week and getting after it.
All right, there it is. So, hey, parents watching this show, you want your son to get better. You wonder why he ain't playing. You got to get some Rock Solid Training, man. Get him to Clamrock, hit him up. All right, let's get started. All right, this week's Pepman players, starting off with Jaden Williams, running back at Butler. We saw him live, 183 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns in that big homecoming victory over Providence. He was very impressive. He hit the hole hard. He had great vision on the interior runs, great shake, got into the open field. He runs with power and speed. It's a great combination of the running back, and he was a big-time player, man. I had to write about this young man. Number 90, defensive lineman Jaden Farmer. I don't know why we haven't been talking about him. And I say we, I mean us Charlotte football media. This young man is 6'5", 280 pounds, and is a wrecking shop up front for the Butler defense. I said to Coach Stone, I said, this guy is crazy. He is incredible. And he said he's the best nose tackle around. And he's only got 3 offers, which I think is insane. I think he is woefully unrecruited. I went back and looked at my highlights. There was about 8 plays he was in the backfield, making tackles for losses or getting pressure or causing a sack. So he is a load, man, and a big reason why Butler is where they are right now. And then the Quadre Currents, we did an interview with him over the weekend. A really well-spoken young man, really talented young man, had a rushing touchdown and a long punt return that set up like a 2-yard score in that victory over Providence. And then for Providence, I was really impressed with tight end Connor Shelton. You know, from what I knew about him, I felt like, he was a really good blocker. But in this game, he really showed off his receiving skills. He had about 6 or 7 catches that moved the chain for first downs. And then he had a big catch and run down the sideline that set up the Providence touchdown right before halftime. So he was really impressive. I thought he was a really good player. Tight end and H-back are his specialties. Wide receiver Jordan Shipp from Providence Day. He had 8 catches for 126 yards and 2 touchdowns, and he also threw a touchdown. It's impressive. And a big victory for Providence Day up in Asheville this past week. A usual Pepman player, running back Anthony Hawkins, 205 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in that victory. The thing that's not noticed on there that I didn't put on there is he averaged 10 yards a carry. So every time they get in the ball, he's getting the first down. That's impressive. That's good stuff, man. Athlete Jake Davids for RGKL playing both sides of the ball. Plays running back. Had 140 total yards of offense. Over 100 of that was on the ground. He also had a big catch, 2 touchdowns, and then he had 5 tackles at the linebacker spot in their victory over a previously undefeated Cuthbertson, which I appreciate Coach Harmon reaching out to me and tagging me, wishing me a good weekend because I was the only one that picked them, and I went first on the pick. So, sooner or later, the guys will trust me when I go first. That's a hint for later on. We got some more. Linebacker Tyreek Brown from Mallard Creek had 2 interceptions, 7 tackles, and 3 quarterback hurries, and a victory over Hopewell. He's a talented young man. He's got an offer from Campbell. He's what I call a run and hit linebacker. I mean, that's the most impressive thing he does is run and hit. Even though he had the 2 interceptions, I say that. He's a physical player, and I really like his game. Quarterback Brady Hibbert from Forest Hills. He's got a big game this week with Monroe. We're going to talk about 3 touchdown passes last week. He had a TD reception on the reverse pass, and he's also the long snapper. When have you seen your quarterback be a long snapper? That's very rare. He did all that in that victory over North Stanley last week. Excited to see him against Monroe. We're going to talk about that game later on. Defensive lineman Bryce Lee from East Meck. Impressive game against Garinger. 3 sacks and 5 quarterback pressures. I talked to this young man at the media day earlier in the preseason. He's a well-spoken, very intelligent young man. And he's got some good traits about him. He's definitely got the ability to play college football. And I'm glad to see him have that big game. And getting East Meck's first win on the season. Shout out to Coach Sanders on that. Another frequent player, running back Gabe Bolivar from Pine Lake. Said his name a lot. 295 rushing yards last week. Good gracious. 3 touchdowns, and including a 93-yard touchdown run, which is a school record in their victory. And he is, I believe he's number 3 in the state in rushing yards. Just an incredible, talented young man. Great job, Gabe. Congratulations. We talked about on CFI After Dark, we talked about Davie County's win over East Forsyth. A big reason for that win was Markel Summers. 4 total touchdowns in that victory. I think this is his second time on Pepman's Players this year. I really like his game. I watched his film. He's a strong, I think he's like 5'10", 190. Really strong with the football when he runs, but he has electric speed and agility. That young man is a player, and he's going to help a college team. I think he's a senior. He's going to help a college team for sure on the next level. Tight end Gavin Barber, a young man that we've talked about before. I really think he is a kind of a sleeper from the recruiting perspective for tight ends. But for Cox Mill, he had the game-winning touchdown catch in that victory. It's a heck of a play. I mean, there was like 2 guys on him in the end zone. He's able to pull it in. And he's going to be a big-time player. He's going to be a big-time recruit at tight end before it's over. And I'm excited to see him have that success. We go to Cleveland, not Ohio, Cleveland High School here in North Carolina. Edge, Cameron Melvin, I interviewed him as part of our interview series during the offseason. Very talented young man. Had 8 tackles, 5 tackles for loss, and 2 sacks in their victory this past week. He can play edge. He can play outside linebacker. They got him at the edge spot this year. He's going to be a big-time recruit. I believe he has a D1 offer already, and he's only a sophomore. So Cameron Melvin will be a name we get to hear a lot over the next couple of years. All right. This was from Joe Hughes specifically. He put it in our text group. He said, make sure Jameer Fox is a Pepman player. I do what Joe Hughes says. 3 touchdown runs for Mr. Fox and a TD catch in his team's victory over Forest View. The first win on the season for the Green Wave. Congrats to Coach James and those guys for getting that done. Athlete Ryan Henley. This was a player nomination from the young man at tight end for Charlotte Christian. He tagged Ryan Henley in the post that we made when we were looking for superlative performances. Henley had over 125 all-purpose yards, a receiving touchdown, and a rushing TD in their win last week. Charlotte Christian has a big game this week coming up with Raven Gap out of Georgia. You might have seen them in some Max Preps rankings as a highly ranked team in the state of North Carolina, even though they're in Georgia. We're going to talk about that game later on in the show as well. Running back Jalen Moore from Reagan High School up in the 3-3-6. 4 rushing touchdowns in their victory over Glenn. I really liked his film as well. Another talented senior. Reagan finding a way to win a game that, they really needed to kind of turn their season around and try to make a run for the playoffs. This next young man is super impressive. Running back Zay Jones from Scotland County. 5'7", 175. Don't let the size fool you. He's the leading rusher in the state. Speed. 221 rushing yards and 4 touchdowns in their victory. Scotland County is undefeated. You start thinking about teams in the eastern part of the state that we're going to have to watch as possible title game contenders. Scotland County is going to be one of them, and they always run that football well, man. And Zay Jones is the next one in line. Great job, Zay. Defensive back Caleb Hill from Weddington. Big win for them at Dutch Fork. Big reason why. He had 2 interceptions in the second half and multiple pass breakups. I watched the interview that Coach Knotts did from Dutch Fork, and he said that he felt like they could beat Weddington deep, and he kept trying to throw deep on them, and they couldn't get it done. And the reason why right here is Caleb Hill stepping up in a big game and finding a way to beat the GOAT of coaches. And, you know, when you do that, you're a Pepman player. Congratulations, Caleb. Linebacker Gavin Brandwood across the border in Fort Mill. They got a big win. 20 tackles. I'm sorry, I was thinking about the week before, but a great performance for Gavin nonetheless. 20 tackles and 2 block kicks. I mean, you don't do that very often. 20 tackles and 2 block kicks. That's a heck of a performance, Gavin. And I watched the film, and he's a really strong linebacker. He flies through the football. He can shed blocks and make plays. Really, really impressive film in their game against York last week. Congratulations, Gavin. And then finally, KD Smith from West Charlotte, the quarterback, athlete, can play DB all over the field. 147 total yards and 4 total touchdowns, 2 rushing and 2 passing in their victory over West Meck. That was the West Side Bowl or whatever they call it. Obviously, West Charlotte won 42-8, and they continue to remain undefeated on the season. Once again, Pepman's Players sponsored by Rock Solid Training. You heard from Kenneth at the beginning of this. He's accepting more clients. Make sure you hit him up for all your training needs. Now, we go to the engine, Kenneth McClamrock, for your new favorite segment, Punt or Huddle Up.
So punter huddle. Basic idea is you're the head coach. The offensive coordinator gets on. It's 4th and short. Your offensive coordinator is trying to sell you a play. As the head football coach, do you buy the play? Do you huddle up and go for it? Or are you saying, nah, OC, you tripping. We punting for this. So first one up, man. I hope you guys are ready for this one. The Carolina Panthers backup quarterback, Andy Dalton, completed nearly 60% of his passes Sunday for 361 yards. Of course, I saw none of them because I was getting kids better. 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Coming off that hot performance, the Carolina Panthers should be working to get him traded so they can get any kind of value and hopefully make up some of their lost draft picks that they've traded away for other players that didn't work out. Should we be trading Andy Dalton? Pepman, what say you?
You know, I really think I felt like we should, because we're 0-3 and it's a very low percentage of teams that are 0-3 that turn around and make the playoffs. Because I felt like we had, obviously we got Bryce Young, and then we had Jake Luton, who had been in the program for a while. But then the Saints went and took Jake Luton. Like, what the heck, man? Come on, man. So I really want to huddle up on this, but I have to punt because we already seen Bryce been hurt already with an ankle. And then, I don't know, we were working out dang on Bryce Perkins from UVA and some other guy that I never heard of to try to come in and be a third backup quarterback for us. So, you got to hold on to him now, I guess. So I'll punt, regrettably.
Well, not only did the Saints pick up our dude, Luton, But I saw where the Jets just picked up a guy too, and then the quarterback that they work out with, Kellen Mond. I've been watching videos of him training and getting better. Coach Dub, should we try to get something out of Andy Dalton?
I'm a punt on this. I think it's another prime example of Panther fans just like overthinking the whole process. Like, if you get rid of Dalton, how do we develop Bryce Young? Bryce Young needs to sit a couple games or the whole season or whatever the case may be. Dalton will give you that chance to develop Bryce the way he needs to be. Because if you don't develop Bryce, he's going to be like Derek Carr or David Carr that the Texans drafted. Develop Bryce under Dalton. Dalton's an experienced NFL quarterback that knows the ins and outs. He can groom that guy. And y'all might have to take y'all lumps this season. But if y'all wait patient, sit still, because y'all traded all y'all value away if you're talking about trading DJ Moore and all those guys. But I will punt. Just sit back and let Dalton do his thing and develop Bryce.
Friday night Fowler. What do you think, man? Should the Panthers try to get rid of Andy Dalton, recoup some draft picks?
I'm punting as well, man, for everything that Pep and Coach Dub said, man. Like you said, man, I know y'all had high hopes coming into the season, but it don't look like too much is going to happen for y'all this year, man. You're going to take your lumps this year. So go ahead and develop Young up on the Dalton, man. And yeah, I'm going to punt that thing, bro.
Yeah, I see the big webs in the background, but I ain't even called on that dude, man. I've already seen what his name is. We're going to leave him in the background for as long as I got the stage. Pepman, statement number 2, punt or huddle. The Duke Blue Devil football team, 4-0. Oh, producer's here. Producer, should we try to get rid of Andy Dalton, man? Try to get something out of him? Dude had a good game the other night.
He did. Very similar to Pepman. It does sound nice, and I lean towards huddling up and getting something for him. But I think Bryce needs, even if Bryce is starting, Bryce needs a veteran in the meetings. We need a veteran in the quarterback room, even if Bryce is starting, just for that influence. A former Pro Bowler, at that. So I think I'm gonna punt that. I think we just need him, even if it's for his influence. Even if Bryce goes back and just finishes out the season, you need that kind of that influence and for him to learn and that experience he can get from being in meetings with Bryce and stuff like that. So we need him out of necessity. So we may need him on the field, but we also need his influence and experience also. So I got to punt.
Yeah, I'm going to stay with you. Of course, we got Bryce Young. We got Andy Dalton. I don't even know if we have another quarterback on the roster right now. I'm going to punt on that one as well. So the Duke University Blue Devils, the football team, 4-0. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill Tar Heels, 4-0. The Kansas Jayhawks, 4-0. The Kentucky Wildcats, 4-0. And notice all of those are the football teams, not the basketball teams. These basketball blue bloods are balling out. One of these 4 basketball blue bloods are legit contenders to make the NCAA FBS football playoffs this year. Big Web, what do you say?
Nah, none of them stand a chance, man. I think they'd be a pretty good team during the regular season. I don't think as far as making the, being in the big showdown, I think they'll make a bowl game, but I don't think none of them would be in the college football playoff, respectfully.
You always know which teams Shelby has players playing for about how Big Web responds to these kind of questions. Friday Night Fowler, what do you think, man? One of these basketball schools got a shot?
I'm going to say no. The best one that does have a shot, though, would probably be the Kansas Jayhawks, considering they play in the Big 12. I know Texas right now is undefeated, but we all know how that conference goes. But realistically, no, nothing.
Coach Dub, what do you think, man? One of these basketball schools, they got a shot this year?
How do I follow that, Kenny? I don't know how to follow it.
No way.
I got it. I guess as much as I want to see them do well, I love the ACC. Obviously, we're in ACC country. I want to see those programs do well. Also, Kansas State or Kansas or all those programs. You want to see them do great, but it's going to be too much firepower once you get in that playoffs. You talking about the Michigans, Ohio States. I mean, it's going to be a lot of firepower, man. So I'll have to punt on this one.
Pepman, what do you think, man? Anybody gonna go for it tonight?
I'm gonna huddle up because North Carolina has a Heisman candidate in Drake May. When you have a great quarterback like Drake May, or any other team that has a great quarterback, you have a shot. You have a shot. The North Carolina defense is playing better. They're getting better week by week. And I mean, when you start out deep in the hole like they were the last couple of years, you had a long way to go, but they're showing progress and they're gaining confidence. And you got to remember, out of the teams, the engine mentioned, Mac Brown's won a national title before. So he knows what it takes to get there. And you want to be playing your best at the end of the season. So I think they're on the right trajectory. They got the right quarterback to get it done. And I mean, Gene Chizik has experience, obviously winning national title as well as defense coordinator. So, yeah, I'm huddling up for North Carolina. Absolutely.
Pep, I'm right there with you, man. I'm huddling up. Drake May, give me Drake May versus anybody. Here's the simple fact: quarterbacks make the rest of the team better. Quarterbacks make wide receivers better because of the way that they deliver the ball to them. They get the ball to them in the tight windows. They don't have to be so wide open. Drake May can make the play. We saw him make the left-handed play for a touchdown just Saturday. I'm hulling up. I'm going for it. I think that the ACC, even though they're having a great start to the season, they're beating SEC teams, all those kind of things, the ACC as a whole, I think, is going to be slightly down. Clemson is out. Obviously, they got beat by Florida State. UNC is going to beat the dog out of Florida State. UNC, don't be surprised if you see them in the playoffs. And Friday Night Fowler, if that one was for you. Last question. So a couple of weeks ago, we talked about a team that no one else had been talking about yet. We talk about it, of course, here on Charlotte Football Insiders. But I've got another one for you this week. The Northwest Cabarrus Trojans. Now, I had to really struggle to say that for my entire life. Since 1995, I've called them the Northwest Cabarrus Trojans. So Northwest just sounds funny coming off my lips. But the Northwest Cabarrus Trojans have started the 2023 campaign on fire. They're 5-0, and they're averaging 40 points per game. They've only given up 19 points for the entire season. They've shut out West Cabarrus, Mount Pleasant, South Rowan, and East Rowan. 4 of their 5 games have been shutouts. Their only point surrendered was in a 30-19 victory over A.L. Brown. Coach Mormon and company are quietly putting together one of the most dominating teams that we've seen in this area for a long time. Big Shelby, what you think about that statement?
Yeah, man, they putting together some good things. They staying quiet. Congratulations to those guys starting out undefeated, man. It'd be good to see how those guys are finishing up, man. But as far as most dominant, I like staying away from trying to compare teams now from teams in the past. I just want everybody to enjoy their moment and enjoy their time in the spotlight right
now. Oh, man, I love it, Big Shelby. Friday Night Fowler, what do you think about them Trojans over there at Northwest Cabarrus?
They're having a great season, man. I wish them well. Hope they continue success, but I'm with Big Eye Shelby on this one. Most dominant team, particularly in Cabarrus County? Nothing. No.
I thought you were talking about how many points they give up every single week. Nothing. Coach Dub, man, what do you think about them Northwest Cabarrus Trojans?
I'm a huddle on it. I know Coach Norman. He's Great guy, Coach Mormon. I know him, great guy. He's a program builder, but also I wouldn't say dominant like Big Shelby said and Fowler said. I wouldn't say dominant. You got to let the season play itself out. A lot of people predict teams early in this season, but hey, until you get to the playoffs and make that run, I wouldn't say dominant.
I can respect that. Pepman, Mike Morrow, what you think, man?
Yeah, Northwest Cabarrus, I had them ranked number 1 in the preseason Cabarrus County rankings.
That's true.
But I would say I really like Coach Mormon. I've known him for a long time. And then a shout out to the defense coordinator, Coach Santana, doing a great job as well. But I'm going to punt on it just because of, who they've played so far. You mentioned the teams they shut out, but the teams they shut out don't have a really good record when you combine them. I mean, the 4 shutouts, Mount Pleasant probably has the best record, and they're around 500. I am so excited to see them when they play J.M. Robinson on October 20th. I am probably going to go to that game. It's at J.M. Robinson, so probably. We'll see how that works out. But I'll punt on it just because of overall level of competition. But saying that, they have dominated the teams they need to dominate, so it's been very impressive.
Pep, I'm right there with you. I'm actually going to huddle up, and I'm going to try to get the defense to jump off sides. For the exact reasons you just said, West Cabarrus, 1 win. I think Mount Pleasant is 2-3. South Rowan, East Rowan are still winless. I would like to see them be able to have this success, like Coach Adub said, against a J.M. Robinson, a team that we know is very legit. But regardless, at 5-0, 19 points given up, man, those dudes are having a heck of a first half of the season. So good luck the rest of the way. That's all I got. Oh, sorry, producer. Good night, man. I didn't see it in the beginning. I'm sorry.
It's all good, man. It's all good, man. I can catch the defense off sides, man. They weren't expecting me to huddle.
That's true.
But this one's really close, man. It's like a 4th and 1, man. But I'm on my own. It's like I'm on my own 20, but it's 4th and 1. I feel like I can get it, man. But if you just look at the numbers, you'd have to say yes. But like you say, unfortunately, like we do on here, you have to often factor in the competition. And they're doing an excellent job. It's an excellent start. Probably one of their best starts ever. But the most dominant is hard to say. So I'm gonna have to punt just purely because, like you said, most of the shutouts are against, I think I looked at their records. I think Mount Pleasant is 3-2. Everyone else,
sorry,
yeah,
you're right.
Everyone else is winless or under 500. So I can't. That's for those reasons. I can't necessarily huddle up on it. But they're doing a phenomenal job. And while I can't say most dominant, holding 4 shutouts is still 4 shutouts. So I'm not in any way discrediting what they've accomplished. To go play 5 games and hold and only give up 19 points. There are teams out there that can't hold a team under 19 points in 1 game, much less 5. So the fact that it's still a phenomenal start, though. But I can't put the most dominant label on it, though. Nah.
Yeah, I was talking to a coach this weekend, a good friend of mine. He was telling me, I didn't realize this, the Coach Loudermilk, the defensive coordinator, I knew him from South Carolina. They had come up from South Carolina, but he's a Mallard Creek guy. He had coached at Mallard Creek and was on part of those really good teams when Palmieri was there.
Yeah, he's doing an excellent job with those guys, man. But then that October 20th matchup coming up, it's going to be major. It's going to be major. All right. I want to take a couple minutes before we get to Friday Night Fowler's rankings and talk about what's going on with the NCHSAA. So basically, just to sum it up, the state government or state legislature, whatever you want to call them, kind of tacked on the amendment to kind of strip the NCHSAA of power and give it to the state government. We talked about this last year, and then it just kind of went away because it never got anywhere. And then they tacked it on to this insurance bill. And basically, they want to have the state government have the authority over high school sports. Um, I just want to get everyone's thoughts on what do you think about the state government running North Carolina high school sports? Engine, I know you got some passionate things to say about this.
You know, few people have been more vocal critics of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association than I have been. I think that they do a lot of things very poorly. That said, maybe the only entity that does things worse than the North Carolina High School Athletic Association would be the government. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, just think of the last time you went to the DMV. How did it go for you? If you got a son or a daughter getting ready to get their permit or their license, tell me how that worked out for you. The only group that can screw things up worse, guaranteed every time, is the government. So with that, well, I think there are a lot of things that need to be fixed. I think that the state is not creating more transparency. I think they're creating more levels of bureaucracy and red tape. And I don't think that that's a good thing whenever decisions need to be made quickly. Perfect example, several years ago, I was coaching. I had a player who was ejected. A player for another team was ejected. They both came off to the sideline. Neither one of them knew that they had done anything wrong. Neither one of them knew that they were in trouble. And then they both got tossed, and we were told they had to sit for the next 2 games. Video evidence very clearly showed that there was nothing that they had done incorrect. There was nothing they had done that was dirty or malicious. And we sent that video evidence, myself and the other head coach, and got both of our kids cleared, and they were able to play the next week. I don't know that type of expedient service is going to be available if you're having to contact Raleigh. Try to contact one of your representatives and get them on the phone. It's not going to be very easy, even if you know them. So with that, I would say probably not a fan of this as it's written.
All right. Anybody else want to weigh in on this? Okay. I will weigh in because, as Kenneth said, the biggest concern I have with this is, like Joe Hughes said right here, this was done in the middle of the night. I mean, I'm literally scrolling Twitter and it's like 11:30, and then Nick Stevens from High School OT, who does a good job with all this stuff, posts this tweet about, this, being tacked on to an insurance bill. And, no one really got a chance to even read, the legislation about it. And, it's 11:30 at night. They want to go home, so they just pass it. And the next day you're like, what the heck is going on here? So the NCHSAA, as Kenneth said, has done some things, that have been frustrating. And there are some things that needed to be corrected. Prime example, the ejections rule. When you have a certain number of players that get ejected and then you get kicked out the state playoffs. I mean, that's insane. And, if Coach Dub, if you want me to talk about it, I'll talk about it. But
go ahead, please.
I was very, very frustrated with that situation because Mountain Island was, subject to that situation, and I didn't think it was fair. And I really, went out there, because I just thought it was crazy. And then the appeals process in that you're appealing to the same people that levy the suspension. That has been changed. That has been adjusted to an independent appeal board, which is, that needed to be done. That was common sense. But those are just a couple examples. I remember during COVID, I was really, frustrated that schools were not getting more of the endowment fund money that was banked away. And I feel like, if you're going to bank money away for an emergency, COVID would be the appropriate time to release a lot more funds than they did. So now they've released more funds, from that endowment that came out of that time. So I feel like the NCHSAA, but when people have an axe to grind, this is what happens. I won't go deeper in that because we have a lot more things to talk about. But if you go out there, you'll see the detail and the people behind pushing this, to get done. There are specific situations that have spurred this on the past couple of years, and I just think it's always bad when politics get in the way of kids. So I'll leave it at that. All right. Anybody else want to say anything? Producer, you've done that twice now.
I'm always like a computer that never shuts off, man. I'm always processing. But I will chime in. I'll say, I'm not sure I like, the mixing necessarily of politics and the kids. Like you say, I don't really see the benefit of that. While there's a lot that needs to change, like you said. I think, I don't know that I want a complete overhaul as opposed to just revamping what's already in place. So, like you said, that has, like you said, it passed in the middle of the night or really late at night. That says something to me, almost like you kind of just wanted to slide under people's noses. So, based on what I've heard so far at this point, I would have to be against that. I think you can fix what's in place, as opposed to just completely overhauling, giving the power to someone completely different. Because I just wonder how in touch would those politicians in control be with high school athletics. So we run into that a lot in our society. Those that are governing are really out of touch with people on the ground level and experiencing things. So I feel like you just kind of further compound a situation like that if you do it. So based on the information I have now, I don't think it's the best idea. Not at all.
Well said. So we'll finish up with Joe Hughes right here. He says, biggest issue with government intervention with sports. Don't y'all have other more productive things to do with your time?
Valid point.
You would think so. But I guess not. All right. Friday night. You ready for your rankings?
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right. Let's get it on the screen. All right, 4A, let's hit it.
All right, no, pretty much ain't much really changed with 4A, except for a couple teams. Grimsley took care of business last week. Butler, we went down, had a big victory in South Carolina over Dutch Fork. Cleveland got it done, even though they played in the monsoon last week. Roseville had a bye. Huff did what it was supposed to do last week against Chambers, a good defensive game, hard-hitting game like I thought it would be. But they pulled it out in the end. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mooresville had a bye last week. Independence with the big victory.
Mooresville beat Hickory Ridge.
Okay, Hickory Ridge. I'm sorry, my bad.
Yeah, Chad administrator said he almost had a heart attack.
Independence slid back into my top 10 after that big win. By 3 touchdowns over Charlotte Catholic in a tough environment. I put them up at number 8. Number 9 is the West Forsyth Titans. I'll tell you something. It's not too many more hard-hitting defenses in the state of North Carolina than West Forsyth. West Forsyth cost Mount Tabor 2 games. The game against them and the game against Reynolds when they hurt about 5 or 6 of their starters, which is why they end up losing to Reynolds.
Wow. So
I put them at number 9. And Chambers, although Chambers did lose to Huff, I kept them in there because it seemed like they always lose to Huff in the regular season. But I kept them in at 10. So that's my top 10 for 4A.
Any thoughts on the 4A rankings?
I like it.
I wonder why.
I mean, we just on our side of things on Patriot Drive, man, we remember who had us in what and took us out. So, we just always make sure that we just handle the next game in front of us, man. We ain't really worrying about no rankings anymore.
What's Roseville record out of curiosity?
Oh boy.
I think they only lost. I think they might be undefeated. Maybe
They lost the only loss they got was the Grimsley.
Yeah.
But you got two teams in there with 2 losses.
So strength of schedule.
Now it's strength of schedule.
Yeah, Roseville's 4-1.
The formula has been updated. Okay.
It's fluid. Fluid formula.
Yes.
Okay.
Fluid.
Yeah, Roseville lost to Grimsley.
Okay. Growth. I can dig it.
Appreciate you giving us some love Friday night, man.
All right, to go into Charlotte Catholic and win like that the way you did, hey, because Charlotte Catholic is not an easy place to win at, man. So
how did we do it?
Huh?
How did we do it?
I mean, you dominated. What can I say? 31-10, that's domination, right? Pass the 6, right?
Having been there multiple times, covered multiple games at Catholic, I can, I second that sentiment. Definitely a tough environment, so got to get credit for that.
I need my statistician to check it, man. We held them to 58 yards rushing.
Listen, that's when you got a strong D-line coach. When you got a strong D-line coach that's brought in, they stop it, right, cuz?
I coach them backwards, but I think we the best.
Oh, my bad.
Hey, man, I will say, man,
the linebackers then.
Our defense played great, man.
I mean, but the linebacker coach should be praising the defensive line coach more than anybody, right?
Yeah, hey.
The defensive line occupies the offensive line, and the backers run free.
Hey, look, baby, shout out to Coach Glenn, the D-line coach. Had them boys ready. A DB coach, Coach Chandler, Coach Dubiel, had them boys ready to go when they put that ball in the air, man. Coach Rankin had a great game plan for us, and Coach McFadden, man, hey, we all just came together as one, baby.
But it started with them linebackers, baby.
Well, I'm going to say it right now. Coach McFadden made the tweet the other day. I think we have 3 of the top 10 best players in that sophomore class in the state for sure, arguably the nation.
Arguably
the nation. Stand on it. Running back, sophomore Jane Jones, 9 touchdowns, 700 yards, only played 4 games. He had 3 against Charlotte Catholic, 6 touchdowns against Hickory Ridge. And he had a touchdown against Mallard Creek.
Who are the other 2, Big Show?
That's 10 touchdowns.
That's 10.
Yeah, he got 10. You're right. Yeah, 10. Sorry. Bad math. Dallas Brandon, Mike linebacker, plethora of Power 5 offers. And the guy you want to get to know is Nick Reddish. Nick Reddish probably has 5 of 6, maybe 5 or 6 turnovers on his own. Playing safety. He already has
a cover guy for Pepman's players a couple of weeks ago.
Yep, cover guy for Pepman player. Nick Reddish had a big strip and fumble recovery against Charlotte Catholic while they were driving in.
He's a baseball player too?
Yep, baseball player. His brother is committed to Virginia Tech. Then his older brother is at Wingate right now. So, yeah. 3, mark my words, guys. 3 of the best sophomores in the state. For sure, arguably the nation.
This segment brought to you by the Independence High School Booster Club.
Jaden Davis. Sorry, Jaden Jones, man. One cut guy, he off to the races.
Yeah, they're all 3 of them are legit.
One play touchdown guy. He's a one play touchdown guy.
Yeah.
Showtime.
All right. 3A. Here we go. Friday night.
I mean, pretty much right here, everything stayed the same. All these teams handled their business last week, so really ain't much to talk about right here. Havelock put up a 60 on West Glade. Hickory got the dub. J.M. Robinson, Northern Nash. All these teams won last week, so nothing's changed here, buddy. Nothing.
Are all these teams undefeated?
I know the first 4 are, right?
I think, yeah, everybody's undefeated. Yeah.
I will. Hey,
No, wait. I'm sorry. Now, Havelock lost to New Bern, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Which is why they're that team.
Pep, bold prediction.
All right.
Those top 4 teams meet each other back-to-back weeks for the what is it? The 4th round and the 5th round. Well, 3rd round and 4th round.
Quarterfinals and the semifinals.
Those top 4 teams will see each other.
Whew. Yeah, don't be some.
I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be 1 versus 4, then 2 versus 3. Then those two will play each other, go to state championship.
Not if J.M. Robinson beats him first.
You right. It's all about who J.M. Robinson gets to play.
It's all about matchups, baby. All about matchups.
I will say, I'm gonna say it. I hope whoever wins out, off those top 4 teams is gonna be a tough place to go in there and get a playoff win.
True that.
Yeah.
I would say that.
I'm gonna say this: if Dudley plays West Charlotte, either home field won't be intimidated to the other. How about that?
The same thing with Crescent. Same thing with Crescent Kings Mountain. I don't think nobody's afraid of nobody.
Facts.
But I will say if Dudley and West Charlotte do play, they need maximum security. I tell you, somebody, hey, both fan bases are the same, baby. Very passionate, very emotional driven. You know, and hey, I know that food gonna be good wherever they at.
Yeah, that's why I said it might be a fight over some fish.
Yeah, might do with football.
Might be marching band fight.
Yeah, marching band fight.
Yeah,
Oh,
dance a girl fight.
All right. 2A, let's go.
Pretty much same here, Pelt. Everybody handled their business last week. We got a big one this week with Forest Hills and Monroe. So that's going to change. Northeastern got a tough one against Hertford County and their quarterback. Bunker Hills playing who that they playing is 5-0 as well. But pretty much as it stands right now, it's all the same. Who?
It's in our picks. They're playing West Lincoln.
Okay.
Yeah.
But pretty much as it stands right now, everything pretty much the same as it was last week.
I like your list. I'll probably move 9 and 10 up above 7 and 8 for sure. Then 4 and 5 play each other. Pep and Kenneth, do y'all know why Monroe and Forest Hills is playing this early versus the last game of the year?
Well, I was wondering why they're playing because Forest Hills.
So it was told to me. This is told to me from an outside source. Apparently, one school called the other and said, by us waiting until the last game to play, it's hard to get our guys kind of up for the game because of all the weeks we got to lead up into it. So it's best if we play early and play right now. And the other school bit the apple. And they got the game moved. So one school tried to call and advocate for a game switch, and obviously somebody bit the apple and agreed. So that's why the game got moved versus being the last game of the year.
Well, I mean, just being me, I would say I don't care when we play.
I was saying it's better to be the last game because if you're the 2 best teams in the conference, and pretty much every year is riding on who's getting the number 1 seed in the playoff versus number 2. So now pretty much it's gonna be you already gonna know your fate before you even get to the last game of the year. Because whoever win that game is gonna get the better seed. I'd rather wait to the end. More fans, more money. Better environment. It's cold. It's gonna be a great environment in general, but ain't nothing like that's like a playoff. That's your first playoff game, pretty much.
That's a weird reasoning because I feel like the school that initiates that conversation feels like they have an advantage if they play right away. So,
I don't know what school initiated it. I don't know what school initiated. I just know it was told to me. That's what happened. Somebody called the other one and advocated for it to be moved, and they moved it.
Interesting.
I'm sure some fan will comment on it. And tell people
Friday night, fella, how many of these schools have lost games?
Monroe lost one, right? Lost to West Charlotte, right?
Yeah.
I think Reedsville got lost. Shelby got lost.
Reedsville got lost, yes.
Shelby got 8 losses?
Shelby got 3.
Shelby got
3 losses?
Burns got 2.
Losses?
Burns got 2.
Yeah.
I was sprinkled CSD in there.
Speaking of that,
I'm telling you.
our weekly comment.
Yeah, basically.
I'll put CSD in.
They're at number 11.
Who would you put CSD in over?
Who you put out, Washington?
We got a 3-loss team in the top 10.
Yeah, there you go.
It's the Shelby go to line.
And a 2-loss team in the top 10.
I'm telling you right now.
It's
Shelby got 2 losses, but like I'm gonna keep telling you every week, they'll smoke half the teams on this list.
So how many
NCHSAA.
losses will Shelby have when the regular season ends?
None.
3?
Said none.
They gonna lose.
They won't lose again to the playoffs.
Oh,
so how many losses will Birds have when the regular season ends?
Burns
I think Burns only has to play. Burns will have 3.
Yeah. Shelby won't lose again to the playoffs. If that.
And Burns.
So y'all are picking Shelby over Burns already.
I'm picking Shelby over Burns right now.
Yeah, I'm picking Shelby over Burns right now. Then Burns will lose in the playoffs, but Shelby's going into the playoffs 8-3.
And it's at Shelby too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I'm picking
So
Shelby now over Burns.
So it's not strictly on losses.
No, for Shelby, he's saying strength of schedule because of the people they lost to.
The formula has been updated, so strength of schedule is there now.
Because they lost to Kings Mountain Crest and AC Reynolds.
Well, CSD lost to Forest Hills by 7 points.
Kings Mountain Crest will beat Forest Hills.
CSD won't be either one of them teams, Coach Rob.
But CSD, hey, prove your point, man. Prove your point and get in his rankings, man. Tough guy to get in.
I mean, I
still 5 more weeks up the season.
I gotta trust Coach Dub. I mean, he just faced them.
Hey, look,
but this is the thing. When you're not familiar with teams, you don't know. That's why just remember this energy come playoff time.
I will say
they're gonna shot
in over Bunker Hill because I know CSD's competition versus Bunker Hill's competition.
Yeah, I'm telling you, like and we get caught too much up in competition. I get what we're saying, but that's why when you got teams as well coached and you got the athletes, watch what I tell you. Just mark this down.
Competition plays a big role as far as 2A goes, though, for sure.
I feel you, Coach.
Okay.
I think competition plays a bigger role in 2A.
All right.
Just remember this. Come playoff time, and someone said, "Don't call it an upset." I'm just telling
you. Yeah, CSD, baby. I'm with you, cuz I'll put CSD in over probably Bunker Hill for sure, though.
Well, Matt Lineberger has this, so yeah, keep that in mind.
Oh, that was last year.
This year.
I'm just sharing what the people say.
Yeah,
I appreciate that, Matt. Appreciate that, brother.
Put them facts out there, Matt.
Okay.
So CSD's keeping receipts. So there you go.
Yeah, he's screenshotting his list.
Man, them boys can play. Listen, they got a kid named Albert.
How much they played y'all, Coach Washington?
Yeah, they beat us 30-12.
30-12.
Mm-hmm.
If you had Reggie Daniel, what was the score would have been?
He tried to get me in trouble.
Oh, good. All right, let's go to 1A. Let's go to 1A. All right, Friday night.
Oh boy. Like I said, 1A top 2 ain't changed. In my opinion, won't change. Mitchell moved up, Swain County moved up, Eastern Randolph moved up, Drum moved up, Norfolk Wayne moved up, even though they got in a fight with Thomasville last week. Robbinsville dropped down. Now, granted, they were playing Rapid Gap, but no points. So you move down. Starmount got waxed by Mount Everett, so they had to move down. And I put Murphy back in. So that's my top 10 for 1A.
Comments getting spicy.
They are. I'm keeping an eye out.
Throw them up there, man. Throw them up there.
Apparently, we ain't got enough time.
They're saying that when they played last year, CSD missed 3 field goals, and I'm sure the Bunker Hill fans are saying that the referee missed three fumbles. So it sounded like it was a good game.
Got to be sound in the kicking game, baby.
All right, 1A thoughts.
I think that's look right.
Hey, shout out to Drawn, man. I saw our guy Elijah Tillery is going to the East-West game. That's great. That's great. I'm glad he's getting recognized. He's
Hold on, what game?
Talent. East-West.
What game? Ain't no other game. What you got on your
Congratulations,
shirt,
Coach.
Pep?
By the way, congratulations, Coach Doug.
Oh, appreciate it. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Oh man, I was waiting for the Dirty Dozen to talk about that, but yeah. There's a special game that's coming up real soon. All right. Any other 1A thoughts?
Fluid.
All right, Friday night. Good job, man. Good job.
I appreciate that. Appreciate everybody. Thank y'all. I love you.
Hey, you did great, Fowler. I promise you. This is probably your best list up to date. This is your best work right here.
Appreciate you, Coach Doug. Appreciate you.
Except for CSD.
All right, Dirty Dozen is sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl.
We got 5 weeks left in the regular season, baby. Still plenty of time.
Thank you, Friday night. I do want to congratulate Coach Robert Washington for being selected as the head coach for the West team in the Queen City Senior Bowl. It was well deserved. Despite what people think, I do not control the Queen City Senior Bowl. It is a board of directors that make those decisions. So congratulations, Coach. It's well deserved, man.
I appreciate it.
Shout out to the Island Boy CEO.
Honored and humble, brother.
So, in the Dirty Dozen this week, we have Providence Day still on top. Butler, Crest, Weddington, Northwestern, West Charlotte, Huff, Kings Mountain, Monroe, Chambers, J.M. Robinson, and Sun Valley makes their debut. And then I added the edge with Northwest Cabarrus, Monroe, Lake Norman, and Independence. So if we did 16 like some other people do, that's what it would look like. And I'll continue to do that.
Who's the first team in?
The first team? What do you mean the first team in?
Are you saying that Northwest would be number 13?
Oh, I didn't really put them in order. Those would be the next 4 considered. So.
Good explanation. Good explanation, man. You answered that correctly because he saw that order and he was great answer.
Oh, he was for the load up.
Yeah, great answer, man.
Like
I didn't put him in order.
You know how the NCAA tournament do it? First 4 in, first 4 out.
Oh, yeah, that's
ambiguous, man.
It's not.
But last 4 in, first 4 out.
Yeah. So also just to while it's up here, make sure seniors you sign up for the Queen City Senior Bowl selection show will be in October. I don't know the exact date yet. We'll sit down hopefully this weekend and nail that out. But there will be a selection process involving media that cover the Charlotte metro area and the board of directors, including myself.
Have you got your new suit for the show this year?
I might go more casual this year.
Hey man, this year, if I was able to coach in that thing this year and pick my team, I had best team ever assembled.
Well, you have to register. That's the first part.
Oh, all my players would have got registered once I found out I was a head coach.
You can go in there and do it for them, right?
I mean, you can.
Hey, I had the best team ever assembled.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, boy, best team ever assembled.
Hey, you could be coaching the West and you getting guys from the East.
Hey man, they want to win.
I'm not gonna say no names, but I tell you, one year there was some of that trying to happen.
I feel like that's happened before.
They tried.
Yeah.
Listen, I was on the opposing staff. I know.
I've heard some rumblings of that before.
Oh man. All right. So there's a lot more stuff to come with the Queen City Senior Bowl. The selection show being one of those things coming up. And then once the team's selected, then we'll start getting into the events of the week and all those fun, exciting things. So just stay tuned, but we're very excited. We know there's the other all-star games going on, the Shrine Bowl, the East-West. But I think it's great that more kids are getting honored this year with the East-West moving to the same week of our game. It'll make it a little more challenging, but it's not bad. It's not bad. More kids, man. More kids getting opportunities. That's what it's all about. All right. We're going to
Is it
the CMS best of last.
40 kids per side? Is that the number?
Yeah, 40 kids per side. Yep. Yep, total of 80. Okay. Most controversial rankings on Instagram were not that controversial this week on Instagram. They were controversial on Facebook, where I faced a couple of questions. And sometimes when this gets posted, people will say, well, where's Charlotte Catholic and where's this school? Where's that school? So CMS, I mean Charlotte Mecklenburg Schools, those are the teams that we rank in this ranking. Now, there are some teams in that are in kind of a different space within Mecklenburg County. We did a preseason poll for private schools and select charter schools. We will reintroduce that because, we do need to kind of update, where I think, those teams are. I will put that out separately, and then allow that to kind of be out there. But this is the CMS best of last, Charlotte Mecklenburg school ranking. I still have Butler on top. I wanted to see him up close. Me and producer saw him last week. They deserve to be number one. I know Coach Dub. I know you say West Charlotte, in your opinion, is the number one team, but I mean, from what I saw, producer, if you can say if you disagree, but I think that's the best team in CMS. So
I agree.
Yeah, Huff over Chambers. Obviously, that bore itself out. Independence moving up with their big win. Myers Park playing well. They beat Palisades 44-0. I thought that was very impressive. They got something rolling over there. When they play RGKL, I'm probably going to go to that game. I haven't seen either one of those teams up close. I've seen a lot of film on them, but I want to see that matchup because I think that might be for the SOMEC conference title. And then South Meck winning their second game in a row moves them up to 11. Any other thoughts on the CMS best of last?
What's North Meck record?
I have to look it up.
Is it 2-3?
Providence record?
We usually ask you for these.
I think Providence got 2 losses. I think Providence 3-2.
And I think North Meck is 2-3.
North Meck is 2-3.
I thought so.
I'm looking up Providence. I think Providence is 2-3 also.
Yeah, Providence 2. I think Providence 2-3. They lost to RGKL.
Yeah, they're
Butler
2-3.
And who's the other one?
Catholic.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're both 2-3.
So are there only 8 teams in CMS with a winning record?
Hopewell's 3-2.
They ain't playing nobody.
Dang, man.
All right, Friday night.
I mean,
Bro, got some money.
what was the score last week against Mallard Creek? And they were 3-1. Mallard Creek was 1-3, right?
48-0.
Okay.
So hard.
Facts are facts.
I mean, it's hard to discredit what you're saying.
I mean, I'm sorry, I ain't trying to hurt about a feeling, but facts are facts.
While we're on this, we got a couple of comments that we'll address here. So when I went, I'll just say this: when I went into that media day, there were some people that were definitely motivated for sure. So, I think it's great. I think it's great that Myers Park is playing well. I think Coach James is doing a heck of a job. He's a Queen City Senior Bowl coach, well deserved. A great guy to talk to, and what Myers Park has are some really dynamic receivers on the outside. I mean, we talk about Brody Keefe because he's highly recruited, but the young man number 10, his name is slipping my mind right now, but I'm so impressed with him. They have Miles Balcom on the outside, number 1. They have 3 legit threats, and then Wendell Thompson at quarterback is throwing the ball really well. 10 is Jahari McDonald. He was so impressive in that season opener against Charlotte Christian. So they're finding themselves. Their defense is playing a lot better. I'm really happy for them. Jada Connect says, is Catholic private? And if so, how can they play for the public state title, but Providence they can't? So Charlotte Catholic is in the NCHSAA. That's why they're able to play against all these teams we talk about here. Providence Day is in the NCISAA. It's the Independent School Athletic Association. They play against their own teams. So that's why Providence Day plays for that title and Catholic plays for the public school title.
And Pep, too, Providence Day is free to schedule any of these teams that's on this list during the regular season.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, he was talking about the title game. That's why I was talking about the title.
No, well, before you get to the title game, you might want to start with a regular season game.
Well, we'll see what they put together. I know they're saying they want to play a national schedule. So
Charlotte Catholic got the most state championships in Charlotte, right?
What was that, Freddie? I'm sorry.
Charlotte Catholic got 8 state championships. That's the most in Charlotte, right?
In Charlotte,
Independence at 7 or 6.
Independence at 7.
7.
And Charlotte Catholic has state championships in 3 classifications.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Of course it is. Fowler said it.
Don't call me Friday Night Fowler for nothing, baby.
Hey, Pep, what did Montre Hemphill say?
Oh gosh.
No, because you know I've harped on this, because how are you going to play a national schedule and you won't play the teams in the area that's beating national? I don't get that.
I mean, I don't know.
Help me understand it. Somebody come up here and explain why that's not happening.
I don't have an answer for you. But I mean, if we can be a vessel to some of those matchups, especially in a scrimmage situation, we'll be glad to talk about it.
And Pep, I am not saying this. I'm not saying that school is duck and spoke. I'm not. But you cannot be the number 1 team and you're not scheduling the best. This is me.
Well, I mean, we'll see if that changes. I mean,
But it can. CFI Kickoff Classic next year.
We can get some sponsors. Hey, we can do a lot. With sponsors. All right.
I like the ring of that, man.
Let's see here. We're going to fly through the county rankings because we got some Union County games to talk about coming up on this Friday night. If I can find there it is. Okay. All right, Cabarrus County. Engine, you got any thoughts here? Not a lot of changes.
Nah, no thoughts.
All right. Oh, Cleveland County, same.
Yeah, no change to the end of the year.
I changed Gaston County. East Gaston, number 1. South Point, I put it 2. Just off of the total season, because that's how I look at it, the total season. So I know Hunter Huss beat South Point, but based off the total season, South Point is 2, Huss 3, Mountain Island 4, North Gaston 5, Bessemer City 6, Ashbrook 7, Forest View 8, Stuart Kramer 9, Cherville at 10, and then Highland Tech at 11. This was the biggest change in the county rankings this week.
That was an upset with Huss beating South Point, right?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't no upset. It wasn't no upset.
What it was is matchups. They didn't match up well with them.
It ain't no upset, man. Coach Randy expect to win those games.
Okay.
Do East Gaston play Hunter Huss?
Nope. East Gaston plays Only 218 they're gonna see from here on out is Shelby and Burns.
Yeah, and I mean I respect the list. Obviously, I'm in the area, but I don't see how anyone can get placed in a certain position ducking smoke. And it's been some smoke ducking. You play. I ain't saying no names. I ain't getting myself in trouble, but it's been some smoke being ducked. Just know, dodging. So I don't know. I guess next year you just put together a schedule that's friendly and win all those games and dodge smoke. And we'll be straight.
Hashtag friendly schedule.
Friendly schedule.
Oh man! All right. Union County. 2 plays 5, 3 plays 7, and 6 plays 4. There might be some changes this week in Union County. So all of these teams that are undefeated or with 1 loss, it's about time to get that shaken up because it's conference time. But still very impressive. A lot of great football being played. I'm leaning towards going to Sun Valley at Cuthbertson this week. I'll finalize it probably tomorrow, but that's most likely where I'm going to be because I want to see both of those teams just to kind of get a feel for where they are overall. Any Union County thoughts? Okay. Iredell County, chat administrator has his, and we were almost the same. We had 6 and 7 flipped. We were almost the same there.
I mean, you was almost right.
Almost. He says Statesville makes a huge jump with their big win over East Lincoln. Yeah, shout out Statesville, man. We talked about it on CFI After Dark, but what a huge win that was. I mean, we took 42-14. This was not just a 1-point victory. It was domination. It's very impressive.
Was that a product of East Lincoln not being that good, or they didn't play nobody in the non-conference?
No, a lot of those guys from that state championship undefeated team graduated.
Okay.
Majority of the starters. I think the only person that came back that I can remember off top right now it was the running back for sure, and in the slot receiver, Coach Beam's son.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I believe they lost a lot. So I think they lost a lot of those guys from last year's undefeated team.
Chat administrator says East Lincoln's running back got hurt in the first quarter.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance, so I don't think.
Gotcha. Appreciate the chat administrator.
Inside information. That's why he's the best chat administrator around, man.
And listen, and that makes a huge difference when you lose a player like that. It's a huge difference.
Lose your best player.
Mm-hmm. So I know how to pick him from here on out, buddy.
Trayvon Statesville had a kid, Mac Davis, who had 200 total yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Oh man,
Jesus!
Right, that's what's up.
Hey, Mac's got to be a baller.
Yeah, tell Mac Davis to tell us, man, so he can be on Pepman's players. I mean, that's a great game.
Shoot, to Rydell, send me a text or something. Tori, damn, 202 picks.
I'll say, you got my number right there. Shoot that.
Yeah, great job, man. Still good football being played in Iredell County, man. It's really impressive. Really impressive. All right, Rowan County. No real changes right there. Salisbury, North Rowan seem to be the top of the county this year. Any thoughts on Rowan?
It's gonna come down to probably the last week of regular season when Salisbury played North Rowan for that 1A, 2A split in their conference.
Okay, you going?
No, I gotta announce, baby.
Oh, okay.
We gotta do Carver and Winsell and Prep.
Hey, can I get you to Harding to do some announcing when y'all on the road?
Let me know. Well, it can't be next week because I'm going out of town next week. Going to Las Vegas next week. So.
Oh, you ain't going to Colorado?
You on Las Vegas for what?
My best friend's birthday, man.
Oh, you don't lie.
No, my best friend's birthday, man. His family, all his crew, we are going out there for the weekend this weekend.
We better see some pictures of you posted.
Hey, man.
Hey, get that ski.
If I run across my Asian persuasion or my snow bunnies, you'll see some.
Listen,
we're going live on the casino. We're going live on the casino next week, baby. Live on the casino.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Jesus.
I think that's a good idea, Joe. I think that's a good idea. Day, this has been a very serious show. I'm sorry. We were doing good. And then that happened.
Tell him this.
But Phil, let me know. Let me know what dates you need me on, because let's see. I think I'm open on the 13th or 20th.
No, you're not. You got to do Mountain Island.
Okay, we got y'all on the 20th. You're right.
Will you try to get out of that?
No.
Come on, Fowler. I thought we had to understand.
Man, I lost track of time, man. Leave me alone, Coach. Leave me alone. I'll feel on 13th, Coach.
My kids and coaches want to meet you.
You'll meet me, Pep. I'm free on 13th, bro.
We got North Stanley at 1, West Stanley 2, and then South Stanley and Albemarle. So no changes in Stanley County. All right. It's time to talk about these games. I'll get my things set up here. All right. Week 7 games. Stu do not have a sponsor for the games, man. It's the longest segment. Oh, I'm sorry, South Carolina. No changes in South. Well, I did move Clover up to 4. Indian Land and York play this week. That's a big matchup. But that's South Carolina. Okay. Oh man, ahead of myself.
All right, go back to that.
Want to show that?
All right.
Go back to that. Who done won?
No,
we don't
right
want to
here.
see that.
Week 7 games for discussion. Let's go.
I'm trying, Joe. I'm trying. I'm trying. All right, Forest Hills and Monroe, man. Big game. We talked about it earlier. It's a de facto conference championship game. Last week, Forest Hills beat North Stanley. Monroe was on a bye. The players to watch this game are the 2 quarterbacks, in my opinion. Brady Hibbard for Forest Hills, 6'3", strong arm pocket passer, but he can move when he needs to. And then Monroe's junior quarterback, Kagan Chambers. We saw him a couple weeks ago. Dynamic dual threat player who is very dynamic with the football in his hands. Had a couple rushing touchdowns against Porter Ridge in that big victory. Thoughts on Forest Hills and Monroe?
That'll be a good game, man. A lot riding on the playoffs. Playoff seeding. Big game for playoff seeding. Big game for the community.
Get there early.
Yeah.
Somebody said to get there at 5:45.
Wow. Haven't seen Forest Hills yet.
Sellout crowd.
Man.
Yeah.
I think if I game in early, we might ride down there.
Monroe shows up, so I haven't been there this year. They definitely
Really big ass Silver. I caught that.
Terrible, man. All right. Any other Forest Hills Monroe thoughts?
You want me to make a prediction now or wait?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Friday night. I'm sorry.
Live on air.
Monroe 28, Forest Hills 22.
Going with the home team. Okay. All right. Last year, Monroe won this game 21-19 for reference.
Came back in the final minute.
I trust that that's true. All right. Sun Valley at Cuthbertson. As I said earlier, this might be the game that I go to. And producer, I think he's going to come too. Sun Valley's undefeated. Still undefeated. 6-0. First time Sun Valley is 6-0 in school history. Cuthbertson suffered their first loss last week at home against RV Kill 28-0. Players to watch. I'm excited to see Sun Valley's senior quarterback Brady Turf. Heard a lot of good things about him. I want to see him up close. And then Cuthbertson has a receiver, Ja'Kai Carter, where he's number one. Really, really dynamic player. He's 6'1". He also plays basketball. I believe he has around 28 catches. He's their leading receiver so far this season. Thoughts on Sun Valley at Cuthbertson?
I got Sun Valley 35, Cuthbertson 21.
Okay. I think it's gonna be a good competitive game. I assume, they're county rivals. I assume there'll be a pretty good crowd over there. I don't know if everyone's gonna go to Forest Hills Monroe, but I think it'll be a good crowd at Cuthbertson. It's in Waxhaw. I've never been to Cuthbertson. I've been through there. I assume it's a nice, pretty new school, so it must be a nice field over there. So, all right, let's move on to the next one. We got Providence taking on Mooresville, going on the road. Last week, of course, Providence lost to Butler. We were there. And then Mooresville won that thriller over Hickory Ridge 42-35. They were up 42-7 going into the fourth quarter. Players to watch for Providence, like number 6 wide receiver Alex Kulavatos. We've talked about him before in Pepman's players. He's a very athletic kid with good speed on the outside. And then for Mooresville, I think defensive lineman Camden Gillespie has a chance to have an impactful game. I saw Butler's defensive line, led by Jaden Former, have a good game against Providence. So I think he has a chance to be a disruptor, rushing the quarterback for sure. Thoughts on Providence and Mooresville?
Mooresville 24, Providence 14.
Okay. Interesting, I'll say. Chat administrator says Providence and Mooresville, there's 2 very good quarterbacks backed by 2 good defenses. If Mooresville plays the way they did for the first 3 quarters, they could win going away, but if fourth quarter Mooresville returns, this could go to Providence. I will say I like Providence Jackson DB at quarterback a lot. He's a big-time recruit for a reason. I like what Coach Giddings does with them offensively. They are a really strong passing team. If he has time to throw the football, look out. I think this was a high-scoring game last year. I think it could be a little more high-scoring than you said Friday night. But
Okay.
I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game for sure. I'm excited for this next one here. We got Raven Gap out of Georgia. They play in the North Carolina Independent School Association, Athletic Association. They're playing on the road at Charlotte Christian. Raven Gap's undefeated this year. Max Preps will rank Raven Gap in North Carolina rankings for whatever crazy reason.
Yeah,
and they're ranked highly.
The Catholic thing, his story is interesting. Look at the team from Georgia that plays for North Carolina Championship.
Yeah. And then last week, Charlotte Christian won big over Canaan School. Players to watch, Charlotte Christian, I got Micah Gilbert. Obviously, he's committed to Notre Dame, 6'4", highly athletic receiver. He also plays some DB for Charlotte Christian. Raven Gap. This was interesting. They always have some really highly recruited kids. So digging into them, wide receiver Trey Horn is their leading receiver. Traditionally, they're a running team, but they've kind of switched that up this year. They're a lot more 50-50 run pass. He's committed to Georgia Tech, 6'3", 175 pounds. And they also have a highly recruited 6'4" left-handed quarterback in Gavin Owens, who has offers from Maryland, Charlotte, and Boston College, most notably. Our guy Shaquan will be at this game. I got that cleared through Coach James over at Christian, who helped us out on that. So we'll have some pictures and video from this game. Thoughts on Raven Gap and Charlotte Christian? Friday night, did you pick this one?
I didn't.
Okay.
I don't keep up. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, man. I don't keep up with the private schools like that. But
Okay.
if you want me to take a stab at it, I'll go Raven Gap 31, Charlotte Christian 14.
Pretty big margin. Okay.
Well,
All right.
hey, Pep, I will say this from private schools. This is going to give you a preview on who's playing Providence Day in the championship. Whoever wins this game and dominate it is going to be the ones that eventually come playoff time, play Providence Day.
That's fair. That's a fair assessment. I can see that. All right. Porter Ridge in the third big Union County game is taking on Marvin Ridge. I got this as a bounce back game. Both of these teams coming off losses. They both had byes last week, but their last games they played, they lost. Porter Ridge lost to Monroe. Marvin Ridge lost to Myers Park. I got both quarterbacks as the players to watch. Jared Lockhart for Porter Ridge, and then Evan Metters for Marvin Ridge. I know reports said Evan Metters got hurt in the Myers Park game, so hopefully he's back at 100% and ready to play, because obviously if he's not, that's going to hurt Marvin Ridge's chances here. Friday night, you got a score here?
Porter Ridge 30, Marvin Ridge 27.
Ooh. Big game. Close game. 4 quarters.
Yes, sir.
Right.
The Battle of the Ridges.
That it is. It is. Any thoughts on Porter Ridge and Marvin Ridge? All right. Good luck.
Angel, you okay, baby? You okay, Angel?
I'm good.
Oh, okay. No, just make sure everybody good. Big Eye Shelby, you straight, baby?
Oh yeah, man. Never better, brother. Never better.
Okay. Just checking on my people, man. You know Molly Mall love y'all. Friday Night Friday love y'all. You feel me?
Appreciate you.
South Point at Crest. This is a contrast of styles here. Obviously South Point with their option offense, and then Crest, spreading out, throwing the ball around with Tater Husky, doing a great job. Players to watch: South Point linebacker Winter Kincaid, a physical outside linebacker who had 121 tackles last season for the Red Raiders, and then also went with the linebacker for Crest. Their offense gets a lot of love, but defense wins championships. And number 0, Derek Mitchell, is their leading tackler. I liked his film. He plays physical. He's got good speed. He's a 3-down linebacker. I really like him as a player. Thoughts on South Point at Crest?
Crest
41. Crest 41, South Point 21.
I'm just telling y'all, this is a trap game. It's a trap game for Crest because South Point losing to Huss, they're motivated. Crest could go in there looking at the fact that they lost to Hunter Huss. And I ain't saying they will. I'm just saying it's a trap game. The boys got to come with the A game. Because the one thing about South Point, if you get sucked into their style of football, they're going to win.
Good point.
I'm gonna come back with you with something, Coach Doug. Mm-hmm. Remember last year they played twice, and the game in the playoffs was a lot of controversy concerning the Chris South Point game. So I think Chris has something to come in with too. So not trying to say that what you're saying is wrong, but I believe Chris has a lot to play for too, considering how they lost to South Point in the playoff last year.
Well, I agree with you 100%. And Big Eye Shelby can tell you better than anything. Sometimes them kids play up and down. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, fact.
But if Crest is motivated, it's not a game. But I'm just saying this could possibly be a trap game.
Gotcha. No doubt, Cole. No doubt.
I like Crest by 40.
40?
Let me tell you why. I've never heard somebody give an evaluation of South Point and never mention their fullback. So that lets me know a lot about that South Point team. Normally, when South Point, first thing you're going to do is mention that man running that ball. And if they don't got that and they led by 2 linebackers, that's what it is.
Well, I mean, the young man, is their leading rusher. Blee was like 30 yards behind him, though. So I think he's running it more than, typically, they would in that offense, like to your point. Yeah. Thank you, Joe.
I think Chris is playing some motivated football right now.
So, I mean, Joe said they're motivated. I mean, losing 3 straight, yeah. I mean, it'll definitely be motivation. And then how that game ended last year. It's very similar to how the Mallard
they
Creek
got
game ended.
last year.
Yeah. Yeah. So, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. And then our Cabarrus County game of the week, A.L. Brown at Cox Mill. We go to the king of Cabarrus County, the Engine, for that breakdown.
Well, I think that both teams are in a place where back in the summertime, not a lot of people expected them to be. A.L. Brown is 2-3. Cox Mill is 2-4. Cox Mill knew they were going to be young in some key areas, but I don't think anyone expected A.L. Brown to be below 500 at this point. This is a huge game for both teams. A.L. Brown is still putting a lot of points on the board. I mean, A.L. Brown is averaging 31 points a game. They're getting over 330 yards a game. On the flip side of that, Cox Mill is struggling on offense. They're averaging about 17 points a game. They're under 200 total yards per game. I think some keys to this, Cox Mill is playing at home, but Cox Mill has yet to win at home. Both of Cox Mill's victories were on the road. That said, Kannapolis is 1-2 on the road. So this is going to be a strange game. This is a huge game for both teams. They need the momentum. They need the pick-me-up from where they are currently. Cox Mill led by quarterback John Bassinet, who does everything for him. Jordan Cleaves is his top wide receiver. And on this show, we've talked about the litany of A.L. Brown offensive players. What A.L. Brown needs is they need their defense to step up. They need a big game from their defensive leaders. They need those guys to start to become a dominant force so that they can make a run here the second half of the season. But this is a really interesting game going on up at Cox Mill High School this week.
All right, that's good stuff right there, Engine. And then CJ Gray, quarterback for A.L. Brown's been playing well. And you mentioned Jordan Cleaves, who tags me in everything he does. He's a dynamic athlete, only a sophomore. I think he's a special talent as well. So my thought on this one was the winner keeps themselves alive for the playoffs. I think the loser is going to have a tough road to try to make the playoffs, even as a wild card this season. So those are the Week 7 previews.
A.L. Brown 45, Cox Mill 21.
Thank you, Friday night. I'm sorry, I almost forgot you there.
Oh no, you good, baby. You good, Pep, baby.
I appreciate that. All right, it's time for predictions. Last week, Friday night moves into the lead.
Oh, hey. First year on the show. Hey, let's go, baby. Like I said, they don't call me Friday Night Files for nothing, baby.
One game over producer and myself, and then Big I, Coach Dub, Engine, and then Joe has gotten to 500.
The joint account.
The Engine, that's the year the boys graduated from middle school.
Almighty.
That is crazy. Engine, hey, all the Engine doing and making, he just setting y'all up for a huge comeback.
Well, he's only at what?
He's not far. He's only 1 week away.
Yeah.
Eight wins out of first place. So
Only in 6th place. That's it.
Oh man. All right, here we go. Week 7 predictions coming down the line. Palisades at South Mecklenburg. Friday night.
I got South Mid.
Big I.
I'm gonna go Palisades.
Coach Dub.
Palisades.
Producer.
Give me Coach Simmons and Palisades.
Engine.
I think Joe Evans is going to get that thing turned around, but I got Palisades.
I'm going to take Palisades. The Battle of the Ridges, as Friday night said. Porter Ridge at Marvin Ridge. I will go first and take Porter Ridge. Engine.
Porter Ridge.
Producer.
Porter Ridge.
Coach Dub.
Porter Ridge.
Big Eye. Big Eye.
Some deep contemplating there.
We'll take Porter Ridge.
Porter Ridge, that's what you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Friday night.
Porter Ridge, baby.
Clean sweep for the Pirates.
I was trying to weigh schedules.
Okay.
Cuz you look down, man. That Cougar got you down?
Problem is she tried to call him before the show started because she goes to bed about 7:15.
No, she just sent him a text. Told him he couldn't get that PlayStation 5.
We'll cut all this out before it gets posted.
That's about a meal she need to get.
Oh,
Across the border, we have York taking on Indian Land. Coach Dub.
Indian Land.
Producer.
Indian Land.
Big Eye.
I'm gonna go York.
Friday night.
I'm gonna go with York.
Engine.
I'm waiting on Joe Hughes. York.
Damn, Joe. You gonna put that in there before I oh my God.
I will take York as well. All right. Both of these teams are undefeated. West Lincoln at Bunker Hill. Producer.
Bunker Hill.
Engine.
Rick. West Lincoln.
Coach Dub.
Let's do it, West Lincoln.
Let's do it. Terrible. Big Eye.
Hold on, comparing schedules.
Hey, man.
You have been called, sir.
I'm gonna go with West Lincoln.
Friday night.
I got Bunker Hill in a close one, 33-30. They at the crib. Bunker Hill, baby.
Ooh. I'm going to take West Lincoln. And the bonus, little NFL action this week.
Oh, Lord.
This
Minnesota Vikings at your Carolina Panthers. I'll take the Vikings.
Is this a trick question?
Engine.
Facts.
I mean, this is messed up, Pep. You're making me do what I don't want to do, man.
This is a conflict of interest.
Kirk Cousins, man.
You like that?
That Joker's getting prepped all week for this game. He's got personal masseuses and mind people and psychologists and
Producer.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings because this way, either way, I can be excited and happy about something.
that's true. That's true. So I'm gonna be happy this week.
Yeah, at least I'm guaranteed something out of it if I pick the Vikings. So I'm going Vikings.
Y'all giving up on your home team like that?
No,
Coach Dub.
I'm going with the Vikings, and I'm going to add this. Anybody that got Kirk Cousins on their fantasy team, start him. He's going to break a record.
Big Eye.
I can't believe you guys would do that to your own team, man. Are we talking about the Panthers that Cam Newton?
God no, man. He
Big Eye.
Are we talking about
That's his pick, Buffalo.
Buffalo? Are we
Hey,
talking about
he
the
lost.
Panthers that Thomas Davis played?
He lost.
Automatic loss. Friday night.
Right. What's talking about some Philly? Probably never even had it.
Oh, God.
Keep tapping, not pounding, tapping.
I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings, man. Viking pride, baby. Since my alma mater is Vikings as well. Minnesota Vikings, baby.
Coach Dub and Big Eye are suspended for the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, how hard it was, Pep. I go in. I knew it was a little bit chilly outside. Went out to water my yard early. And I look at my closet. What long sleeve shirt do I want to wear today? Panthers, nope. Panthers, nope. Panthers, nope. So I put on an effing 49ers because that's the best team that I had in my closet. That tells you anything.
Hey man, it was all calculated for me. If the Vikings win, I get 2 points on my pick'ems. If the Panthers win, they finally get a win. I
I
can be
know it's
excited
true
about
that. True that.
So it was a calculated, kind of hedging my bets, man.
It's a win-win, even if we lose.
There you go.
Karen Belk, though, is going with the Panthers. All right, Karen. Thank you. Thank you for staying strong, Karen. I respect that. I hope you had a great birthday, too. I really do.
What's up, Miss Belk? How you doing?
All right.
I'm glad they're in that penalty box, though.
So we're in best of the comments. Coach Trotter says Friday night can't help me on the 13th. He's going to. You going to Pine Lake?
No.
Apparently you are. Look what the screen says.
Oh, what's up, Coach? Never mind. I got it now. What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Check your
How you doing, Coach Trotter?
So you are going to Pine Lake?
I got to figure out who else playing that night, man.
Send your schedule, man. It's like people do me at work in the corporate world. They tell you they just put a meeting in your calendar and it's just in there.
I know, right?
Just put a meeting in there.
My calendar goes off. I'm like, beep, what? I got what?
Yeah, exactly.
Where'd that come from?
Hang on, man. Derek Howell says, I don't think the South Point game, the track game for Chris, because South Point's the only Gaston County team that Cleveland County respects. Wow. Man, that's something.
Yeah, I'm going to roll with that right there.
Okay. All right. Gene Neely, Huss on the come up. Yeah, that's a big win. That was a big win for him, man. I'm happy for him. We talked about it on CFI After Dark. Coach Thompson's been on this show. Great job. Congratulations to Hunter Huss on getting that big win, man. Let's see here. Chat administrator, you want to raise? What? For what? Man, you know what? If you come to the JV game, let me know, man. I might go to Mooresville, Providence, man. I ain't seen you this year. We see each other like once a year. So if you come to the JV game, man, let me know. I'll slide you something, man. I'll slide you something. Let's see here. Nation's Ford still janky. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that.
He says that all the time, man.
I don't know what he has against Nation Ford. And the reactions to you Friday night, Fowler. There you go. There you go. There you go. All right. Well, if you missed that part of the show, go back and watch. Yeah, it was definitely
edgy content, man. Edgy.
We were talking about Statesville East Lincoln games. Joe says Statesville's always been a thorn in East Lincoln's side. They played 4 times the past 3 years, and East has won once. Oh,
okay, didn't know that.
I did not know that either.
What's up?
I did. Montre, who we're talking about, teams ducking smoke, teams with easy schedules never get battle tested. When the playoffs come, they get boomed. I mean, we've seen that from time to time. High seeds get beat at home, and then their season ends. And you can almost see it coming sometimes. You almost can. Mike Middleton, coach, coming in. Long story short, CMS can't play privates during the regular season due to a leftover rule from segregation. Gracious.
That's interesting.
Yeah, we talked about
rule that is.
Yeah. Well, we talked about it before where the third parties, like us and Turf Kings can facilitate those matchups. So
segregation?
That's way back.
Way back.
Love to know
there
more.
were like 4 schools in Charlotte during segregation. So they had private schools back then. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I'd love to know some more details on that.
I'd love to kind of learn more about that.
Yeah. If y'all find out, let me know.
Coach Short from Bessemer City says they enjoyed their CFI Jamboree experience. Yeah, it was good to have you, Coach. It was good to have you, man. We'll start working on that in January. Working on some matchups for next year. Had some schools reach out that they want to get in to it, so we'll invite some schools back as well. So we'll work on that. If there's some matchups you guys want to see, man, let me know. We can try to work those out. Let's see. Chat administrator says everything's unnecessary controversial on Facebook. That is true. Some of the comment sections I read, terrible, man. Karen Belk says, nice backdrop. Yeah. It was left over from a couple years ago. Threw that in there. It looks nice. I like that. I'm stepping up a little bit.
Let me know when I can put a Queen City Senior Bowl shirt order in, man. Let me know. I've been waiting.
I'll let you know when the store opens, and you can.
I've been waiting 11 years, man.
11 years? We've been around for 4. What the
Dramatic flair, man. 4 didn't sound as impactful. I had to add a few more, man.
Terrible. Friday night, this is for you. Far West North Carolina Sports checking in says you're the only one that has Robbinsville below 3rd in your rankings.
Hey, man, look. You claim Robbinsville to be what Robbinsville is supposed to be. They weren't supposed to got beat 36 nothing last week. Had to drop, baby. Had to drop. But they're still in the top 10, though.
Oh, man.
All love to the Black Knights, baby. All love to the Black Knights. Just know that. Far West North Carolina Sports.
Thank you for
Black
tuning
Knights
in.
and the Snow Bunnies. That's who Friday Night Fowler shows love to, baby.
Karen Milk says, I would think there needs to be some organization over state athletics should have fixed it, not eliminated. So one of the things that I've seen is they used an axe where they should have used a scalpel. That's one of the things that I've seen out there about the whole NCHSAA situation. I think we didn't do the early comments. So Kim Watts, appreciate you being here. Travis Wayne says Carolina needs an offensive line. Coach Trotter says trade Andy Dalton to the Jets. Shout out for KD Smith during Pepman's players. Also, someone shouting out KD Smith. Child by 79 says, hey, y'all. Name. Okay. Jared Sanders and Anthony Hawkins is already at 1,000 yards. That's crazy. We were talking about Jaden Farmer from Butler says he requires double and triple teams. Yeah, it was crazy. Andy Campbell says he's a straight dog. Joe Hughes says Engine is the new age outlaw. What was that? The Road Dog?
The Road Dog, Jesse James, and Billy
Road
Gunn.
Dog, Jesse James, baby.
Oh, man. What a reference. What a reference right there. Oh, boy.
Free Webb. God, Tom Nikisha.
Webb and Washington versus
That's what you get, man. You're in the penalty box, man. Always talking about the Eagles, man. Probably never even had a cheesesteak. Never ate a cheesesteak before. Always talking about food.
Oh, man. These are facts. These are facts. But you see how organized we are without Big Eye in here right now.
Yeah, solitary.
Oh man.
He's always
Summer Blevins, thank you for this. This is the most amazingly funny yet informative and positive show I watch.
See? Go.
Appreciate that, Summer. We appreciate that.
Well, we know there's been a writer's strike, so your options are limited, but we appreciate you selecting Football Focus Week.
It's this and The Bachelor. That's what we got.
That is not accurate, sir. You're just making up numbers now. You're just making stuff up, man. You're just making stuff up.
God, look at this next comment.
Thanks, Wills.
Well, you keep on messaging because you and Coach Dub over there, Panther haters, and will enjoy your time out because now it's slime time with your favorite host, not me.
You know what time it is. It's time to get some stuff off of our mind, off of our chest, let free from somebody or something that upset you this week. You know, Pepman, let's go ahead and go right to you, man. Who are you sliming on tonight?
I'm slamming Coach Dub and Big Eye Shelby.
Nice. Friday Night Fowler, what say you, man?
Hey, man, look here. I ought to take delight in this because I'm a Raider fan. I'm part of the Raider Nation. So anytime I see the Denver Mammy Jammy Broncos get beat down, I love it. But come on, man. You're an NFL football team, and you gave up 70 Mammy Jammy points. Come on, man. You don't need to be in no damn NFL. You need to be in Part 1 or somewhere. So I'm going to send a petition out to replace the Denver Broncos with the Forsyth County Broncos because they won't give up no damn 70 points, especially after the King Dolphins. Let's go.
The Forsyth Broncos. Now, is that a youth team or is that a semi-pro team?
PYFCL.
Producer Brandon, who are you slamming on?
I get on the Panthers a lot, but now I'm gonna single it out to just the Panthers O-line. I think it was eight false starts, I believe. I don't want to hear nothing about no 12 man. I don't care about none of that crap. You pipe in some noise, do what you got to do, but I mean you can't have 8 false starts, man. I mean that's crazy, man. So I don't care how loud it is. You're an NFL line. 8. I think it's 8. I think I got that right, man. I mean, that's unacceptable at any point, loud or not. 12th man, I'm kidding about it, man. 8 offensive starts. I mean, the Panthers have played in Seattle before. They won in Seattle, so it can be done, but that's inexcusable, and I gotta slam them for it.
Yes, I'm with you, Brandon. And to go to Nikisha, Nikisha, you know how much love I got for you. But what you don't understand is Sunday, I said, you know what, man, I ain't staying home to watch the Panthers lose. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to get some kids better. So I was out all day Sunday working with kids, getting better. Shout out to my 8th grader who was just named to the All-Star game. Kids coming from 8 states. My 8th grader made it. Brandon, shout out, dude. But this is what I got back to. I finished working with these kids. It's about 8 o'clock, 8:30 Sunday night. And I look at my phone and there are like 79 text messages in our little group chat. Well, 59 of them is Adam Weber and Robert Washington talking junk about the Carolina Panthers. You know what I did? I deleted it. Deleted the whole group chat. I don't want to hear any of that mess. So as much as I would love a 3-piece Supreme with honey mustard and french fries and Cheerwine no ice, and as much as I did not get Bojangles today, now Pep heard me yesterday, I was getting Bojangles. That's going through the line. I did not get it today. But Webb, Dub, they staying locked up for this one. That's all I got, Pep.
Nikisha, I want my 3-piece.
What time it is? It's time to get.
Hey man, look,
We back. We back like we never left.
But you know what's so crazy? I told Pep I was going for the Panthers Sunday. I didn't even get to finish my rant. I didn't even get to finish.
The Pittsburgh Panthers, maybe.
No, I was telling Pep, is this the Panthers we talking about that the Cam VP played for? Is this the Panthers that Luke Kuechly paid for? Thomas Davis, Julius Peppers, Steve Smith, Josh Norman. Them the same Panthers we talking about? Well, too bad they're not playing this Sunday. Trash.
Well, listen, hey fellas, I'm telling y'all, my wife is a Panthers fan. I'm from New England, so I'm a New England fan. But when we was raising our kids, I promise you, we had a hot debate. And we stay near the airport, so when we go down and see those kids holding their parents' hands, going to the stadium, they're going in, they're happy, they're excited to go and see the Panthers. By the time the game ends, those kids are crying.
You know what?
Hey, this is the thing too, cuz they didn't want to ask me about. They didn't want to ask me if they wanted to punt or huddle up about Andy Dalton. Hey, if you're gonna lose, at least score some points and just be hot garbage.
Not everybody can love the New York Yankees like you guys, and the LA Lakers and basketball like you guys, and the Philadelphia Eagles and football like you guys. And I mean, hell, y'all probably like Jeff Gordon and racing when he was around. Not everybody can like those people, man.
Hey, Kenny, I got a question. Kenny,
listen.
There you go. Look at that. Nobody hear nothing about no baked beans and cheesesteak, man. Get them out of here.
Good night, everybody.